All NFL players, no matter the role, have expectations each and every year. Some obviously have more than others, as to expect the fourth corner or the long snapper on the Jets to produce at his position what Patrick Mahomes does his obviously isn't reasonable. Rookies are no expectations either, as Joe Burrow had some incredibly lofty expectations heading into the 2020 season given what he was able to do in his senior year at LSU. On Wednesday, we did a video on rookies that were disappointing so far in the 2020 season, and in today's video, we're going to talk about a handful of rookies that have exceeded expectations so far. Before we start though, only about 43% of the viewers are subscribed to the channel, and if you guys did not know, I will be giving away a Saquon Barkley autographed jersey to one subscriber if we hit 18,000 before the new year, so this should definitely give you some incentive to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Make sure to like the video while you're at it, as each only take a second to do and helps a ton. Now let's begin. And we're going to start today's video with Justin Herbert of the Los Angeles Chargers. Herbert in 9 games has thrown for 2,700 yards, 22 touchdown passes, and has ran in another 3 scores on the ground. For a 16-game pace right now, he would throw for nearly 4,800 yards, 39 touchdowns, and rush for another 5. Simply put, a 5,100 total yard, and where I get that from is the 4,800 passing yards plus another 300 on the ground, and 44 total touchdowns would be an MVP caliber season. To say he's exceeding expectations right now would be an understatement, as if Herbert's teams were winning games, he very well would be in the, and I say this loosely, but the MVP conversation. It is Pat's award right now, don't get me wrong, but Herbert's numbers aren't too far off of Mahomes, which is insane. The Chargers are one of 3 teams to have not lost by more than a touchdown, which is crazy to say given their 2-7 record, but yes, their biggest loss of the year is to Miami by only 8 points. They have lost an astronomical amount of one-score games over the past 5 years, and one would think they will eventually win those games, especially with the quarterback they have now. For all of the criticism the Herbert selection received back in April, it really couldn't have worked out, so far at least, any better. Justin has 5 300-yard passing games, and for comparison, that is exactly how many Russell Wilson and Patrick Mahomes both have. The Chargers' current record certainly doesn't reflect on how good Justin Herbert has been for them in 2020. And next we go to the Steel City to discuss arguably the biggest draft steal in all of the 2020 draft in wide receiver Chase Claypool. In 10 games, Claypool has over 550 yards receiving, 8 touchdowns in the air, and has another 2 on the ground. His biggest game was of course back in October when he had a 4-touchdown game against the Eagles in a 38-29 Steelers win. He was drafted in the 2nd round in a very loaded wide receivers class and was the Steelers' first draft pick in the 2020 draft. They of course did not have a first-round pick due to the acquisition of Minkah Fitzpatrick earlier in the 2019 season. Claypool and the Steelers are 10-0, and he has played a huge part in that, with having 10 total touchdowns and on pace for a 16 total touchdown rookie year. Now, statistically, Claypool may never be a 100-catch, 1,500-yard player, and that's fine because of how team-oriented the Steelers are. Chase is currently on pace to have a 62-catch, 894-yard, 13-touchdown season, and the Steelers at this moment in time are projected to have 16 wins. Due to having teammates like Deontay Johnson and Juju Smith-Schuster, Claypool can't be a 100-catch player this year. It's just not possible. Now, I do expect Juju to leave this offseason, due in large part to having to pay TJ Watt, so what that means and how that correlates to today's video is he could be even more dominant next year. Now, the touchdown numbers will probably regress, and that's natural because a player can't have 16 touchdowns for the course of time. It's just not possible. Jerry Rice didn't do it, Randy Moss didn't do it, and Chase Claypool won't do it either. So Juju has 75 targets in 10 games, and over the course of a season that equates to 120 targets, meaning the Steelers will have to replace 120 targets in the 2021 year, and that could directly benefit Chase Claypool. So for as good as he is now, and as much as he is exceeding expectations now, he could improve even further in 2021. Staying in the AFC North, we go to Cincinnati to discuss wide receiver Tee Higgins. Tee and Joe Burrow were displaying a great connection in 2020, despite the Bengals losing a lot of ball games. Tee was, and whether you know this or not, is currently on pace for 1,000 yards, and with Joe Burrow out for the year now, I personally doubt that happens. He had 2 100-yard games on the year, and with a low-market team like Cincinnati, players like himself and Tyler Boyd kind of go under the radar. Now, Now, I wanted to include Joe Burrow in today's video, and I 100% would have had he not gotten injured. He was exceeding expectations given what he was walking into, which was a 2-14 team with, and what I would say was almost no offensive line. For what Joe had protecting him, he played good for his rookie year and was going to be in the Rookie of the Year award conversation. But for the portion of this video, him and Tee had established a good connection, and I really can't wait to see those guys play again in 2021. Tee's coming out party really came back in week 6 against Indy when he had a 60+ yard catch against the Colts and really hasn't looked back since. Now, he didn't have a great game against the football team on Sunday, but in the remaining games since that Colts game, he had games of 71, 78, and 115 yards in a row, and that was a 3-game span of 18 catches for 264 yards and 2 touchdowns, which would translate to a 16-game pace of 96 catches, 1,400 yards, and 11 touchdowns. Now, I don't expect that type of production from him yet, but that goes to show how he and Burrow had been performing in the previous few weeks. Higgins, as of now, though, is exceeding the expectations he had on him heading into the 2020 season. And next we go to Patrick Queen of the Ravens. Despite what is going on right now with the Ravens, talking about COVID and all of that, Queen himself is having a good rookie season. He is on pace to have over 110 tackles, 10 quarterback hits, 3 forced fumbles, 3 sacks, and 2 defensive touchdowns. He is very much in the Defensive Rookie of the Year conversation, and even as a first-round pick, he is playing above the level he was expected to play at this point in his career. The Ravens have had several good linebackers in their young franchise's history, most notably Ray Lewis and CJ Mosley, and Queen certainly looks to be next in line. He has 5 games of 9 tackles, with his career high being 12 in a game over the football team back in October. Now, as I record this, the Ravens-Steelers game was just pushed back until Tuesday, and hopefully Queen plays, and hopefully this game gets played. Anyways, he has all the looks of a linebacker who can start for the Ravens for the next 10 years, and to much surprise, he fell into their laps late in the first round of the 2020 draft. Queen was projected as high as the teens, but when Kenneth Murray went 24th to the Chargers and the Seahawks surprised everyone with the selection of Jordan Brooks above Queen, the Ravens had a no-brainer pick of Patrick at 28th overall, and through 2/3 of his rookie year, he has paid huge dividends and exceeded expectations. And the final player we go to for today's video is Vikings wide receiver Justin Jefferson. Jefferson has been great all year and exploded onto the scene in a big way. His first big game was a 7-catch, 175-yard outing back in Week 3 against the Titans, in which he had a 70+ yard touchdown and did the gritty for the final 5 yards of the play. Him and veteran receiver Adam Thielen have been torching defenses all year, and although the Vikings traded Stephon Diggs to the Bills, Jefferson has been everything and more in what the Vikings could have hoped for from a rookie wideout. Through 10 games, he has 45 catches for 848 yards and 4 touchdowns, which puts him on pace for a 72-catch, 1,300-yard rookie year. Perhaps what is most impressive about this is Jefferson, and really Tee Higgins and Claypool too, did this without a preseason. Preseason is huge for rookies, but especially for skill players, as they have to adjust to not only the physicality of the NFL, but the speed. Jefferson very well may be the best of the bunch, as he already has 4 100-yard games in 2020, and very well could have a 5th on Sunday, with Adam Thielen being reported as not expected to play. Jefferson had a combined 5 catches for 70 yards in his first 2 games, which isn't great by any means, but since then, he has had 40 for 778 yards. So in the last 8 games, if you translate to a full 16-game year, Jefferson is then on pace for an 80-catch, 1,500-yard year at just 21 years old. Now, for some personal input here, as a Vikings fan, I couldn't be happier, as much as I loved Stephon Diggs, I think I speak for a lot of the fan base when I say I got tired of constantly hearing what he was tweeting, or just the general drama surrounding him. I can't think of a more perfect example than in March, when he wore a Cardinal shirt to a workout, and then defended it by saying it was his brothers from a workout. A pre-draft workout, that is, with Trayvon. Anyways, Jefferson is the real deal, and again, as I said, I am a bit biased, but I do think Jefferson is the best of the bunch. And that's no disrespect to Claypool or Lamb or anybody, but Jefferson is that good. Now, for a few other players I didn't include, Tua largely due to his last start, and he really hasn't had any huge statistical games yet. Yes, he was 3-0 as a starter, but he didn't have any Justin Herbert 365-yard, 3-touchdown games. CeeDee Lamb is great and could have very well had his own spot in today's video, and the same goes for Antonio Gibson of the football team. Also, shout out out Antonio Gibson for being the only rookie ever on Thanksgiving to have 3 touchdowns in a game aside from the legend himself, Randy Moss. Now, that's all I have. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please like the video and subscribe to the channel, as the Saquon Barkley jersey could be yours, and I will see you guys next time. Have a great day. Peace.